a living just by selling my soul.
Right, good morning all, good morning all. Welcome back and Happy New Year. Now into FoXDaWG today, straight into it. This is not going to be more painting. I want to leave those two test pieces for a little bit longer. Weather's been quite cold, they've only had 3 days sitting there, but they're lovely and smooth to the touch. They floated out absolutely superbly. I'm really happy with the outcome. I just so hope it stays put. They're going to go on the bike and be tested in that way. I could easily get a thumbnail and start trying to scratch them and chip them, but of course you can do that to regular paint that has been keyed underneath. They got nothing underneath except smooth, shiny chrome, so I'm going to give them every chance to prove themselves. Probably a couple of weeks, I'm going to screw them on the bike, and then when the time comes, I'll see whether or not they're robust enough not to need scuffing and etching underneath. Either way, that's the experiment so far, and it's ongoing. Right, now, FoXDaWG today, I want to make some handlebar weights. But rather than tell you all about it, let's get the bars stripped, let's get the handlebar grips off and show you what I'm up to. Welcome back. Right, what we've got for number 12. Okay, handlebar weights. If you know your Harleys, you'll know that they never use handlebar weights as a method of damping vibration. They don't put them in. Right, I might be wrong, there might be one bike that's had them somewhere, but 90% of Harleys, every Harley I've ever had has had no handlebar weights at all. What Harley Davidson use as a method of isolating vibration is they use these isolastic bushes. They mount the handlebar risers on two big lumps of rubber with a metal tube through, and the whole thing moves around. This whole assembly here, it moves around, it gives an element of compliance, so it takes away some of the vibration that the motor's making and doesn't transmit it to the handlebars, and that's great, it works very well. But a byproduct of that is that it does give the steering a bit of a vague feel. And as you may know, if you're following this build, very generously from Dan at Dan Death's Custom Cycles, I was given a set of his stainless steel lock-up bushes. They're just two big steel cotton reels that bolt in place of the rubber bushes, so there's no compliance and no movement at all. So now, what I've got going forward for the future is this whole front end completely locked up, no movement whatsoever. And a byproduct of that is going to be more vibration to the end of the bars. Now, personally, I'm quite lucky. I've never suffered like some of my mates do with buzz and numb hands when I'm riding. However, after a long ride, it's still intrusive. When you're doing a 100-mile ride, after the 70, 80-mile mark, your hands do start to get a bit numb. You need to start taking them off and get the blood back in them. So if I can eliminate a little bit of that vibration, I want to. And the way I'm choosing to do it today is to make some bar weights. Now, Harley bar weights, obviously they don't exist. That's one of the telltales that they just don't go there, is that all Harley grips come with an end on them, like that. And even still, these particular ones have got a removable cap. The hole in the end is smaller and it's not designed for putting a bar weight through. Any grip that you buy for a Harley is a solid thing capped off. So they just don't put them in the end hanging out like a normal bike. So I'm going to keep with that, and I'm going to put my bar weights all internal. The whole lot's going to go inside the bar. I'm going to try and turn in the lathe, turn down a pound of steel with a hole through it and a grip to lock it up with a screw. So it stays inside, I can put the grips on, and I've got bar weights that nobody can see. So here we go, FoXDaWG stealth handlebar weights. Let's go. Right, 1 pound 2 ounces in weight for the raw material. I reckon with the hole drilled in that will take out 2 ounces quite easily, so I reckon that's going to be cut in half, faced off. As little removal as I can. I'm going for ½ pound each side, which I think will be a nice little bit of weight. I don't think you get much more unless you use lead, which is always an option, but we'll see how these go. Alright, just to answer the question, why put that in the chuck to cut the thread? That's because I don't have a die wrench big enough. I ordered this M6 die off the internet recently as a replacement, because your M6 die and tap and drill bits and all your M6 things, you'll wear them out the most, because on any motorcycle, M6 is the most common thread, sort of M8 next, but that's the one you're going to wear out the first. And my cheap tap and die set, the M6 die, has worn out completely. It's blunt, it doesn't cut nice threads anymore. And when I bought another one just to replace it, which you do, that turned up and it's about 10 mil bigger in diameter, so it doesn't go in my die wrench. So the easiest common sense way to hold that still was to put it in the chuck. Not only that, putting it up against the back of the chuck, make sure that it's held absolutely upright and straight, and all I got to do is wind that in. I had to extend the thread on this bolt. This is the mounting bolt for the job today, because the weight itself goes on there, and then the little expander thing goes on the end, and I needed the expander to be able to be pulled all the way down to expand it out as much as it needs. I don't want a restriction of it running out of thread or bottoming out, so I just cut the thread all the way down. And these are stainless, which is quite beefy to try and cut even at M6, so that's why I've invested in a really good quality. That was 20 quid, a proper top quality engineering die. You will use the M6 the most, so if you're going to invest top money in tools, make it the most commonly used tools, you get value for money, don't you? Right, let's put it all together and stick them in the bars and see what they look like. Just before I put these in, I said at the beginning, the bar, the piece of donor bar that I chopped up, was 1 pound 2 ounces. I said I wanted half a pound on each side. So I've added the screw itself, the expander and a washer. And is it on target? Yeah, boom, there you go, 8 ounces, half a pound for that one. That one out, other one, boom, there we go. 8 ounces each, mission accomplished. Okay, there we go. Harley-Davidson Stealth handlebar weights fitted. Job done. Tick, another one off the list. Half a pound of steel in the end of each bar, and they definitely have an effect on damping out some of the vibes that I will have increased from putting the solid mounts in the top yoke. That's definitely the right move also, because it will take away that compliance and make the steering more direct. That's definitely a plus. But the minus to that might have been just a little bit more vibe through the bars, and hopefully these will help to eliminate that for those longer rides. They never need to come out, because obviously the only reason that bar weights ever have to come out is to get the grips off, but not in this case, because they're all internal, so they can stay in there forever. But should I ever need to get them out, piece of cake, wind the bar out a little bit, pair of grips on the end and just wrench them out. It's only a friction fit. I've got a drawer full of those expanders, just put a fresh one in afterwards. So that job is knocked off. I'm happy with that. Now obviously the next job is back to the paintwork. I just want to leave that paintwork over there for another couple of days to dry, because it has come out a lot better than I expected, and I'm really hoping I can bolt those on and just use them. I'm going to ride the bike with them on like that. I was going to see if I can scratch it off, but of course you can scratch off any paint. Even if your paint has been laid on over a keyed and sanded finish, if it's only 2 days old, a thumbnail will scratch it anyway, it will damage it. So there's no point in deliberately wrecking it. It's come out so well. So I'm going to give them a good week or so to dry, bolt them on and just be careful and then do the rest. And in the future, if any of it flakes off, I'll take it off, sand it back, blow it over. It'll be a bit of fun for an afternoon, no problem at all. But really happy with that. Now there's not going to be, as a few of you said, all black. This, as I've said so many times, I'm not going to murder this out in black, the whole thing. It's not a rat bike. There will be plenty of chrome on this, just not so much acreage as there currently is. I'm just toning it down and balancing out the black and chrome so it's a little bit more of a contrast and a little bit less of a feature. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for all your incredible support. Take it easy, ride safe. See you next time.
Just trying to fill this empty hole. Every time I seem to put the bottle down, life walks